All right, YouTubers, here is a little solution for mounting these KMC bead locks that we just kind of figured out. This is what we want to get to. We were having a lot of trouble getting these tires on that inner bead. Problem we're having, got in our little cheap Harbor Freight tire mount just to hold it. Holds a little better than a 5-gallon bucket, which is how I used to originally do it. So the easy part's getting the inner bead over, but when you get to the outer part of the bead lock and you get this tire set in place, I apologize, I'm doing this with one hand. We had 5 hands on it yesterday, and we still couldn't get the thing to seat. The issue you run into is you can get it to seat on one side. I don't know if you can see that. It's down in there on one side, but on the other side, it rides up over it and it won't seat in. And right about here is where it actually comes on the outside. And we've had various different tire spoons and everything in here trying to get this on. And literally it's a little less than half of the circumference that just won't stretch and get over there. We've actually trimmed the little excess rubber off the inside. That still didn't seem to do the trick. So came up with this little technique. Initially I saw it on YouTube where they used this and then used a spoon to pry it over, but I found a little easier way to do it. So this may be broken up since I'm doing it one-handed, and I'll piece them together. First thing you need is a couple of the mounting bolts. These are what come to mount the bead lock rings. And we got one that's got some little flimsy fender washers. And what I'll do is take this one and just put it in the hole where the bead seems to be seated. And if you can see, the washer kind of sits off to the side, which I thought was a problem, but actually that's what makes this work. Using the little Ryobi, just kind of tighten that down to hold the bead in place. And I'm gonna take my other washer. Again, it's a little bit smaller than the fender washer. I'm gonna find the edge of where the bead starts to come out. And I'm gonna put that bolt in there. And you can see it push it down into the gap. So the initial thought I had that I fought with on the original one was to then take a spoon and try and get it in here and pry it over. But as Mike McCullough says, try to work smarter, not harder. And I only have one hand here today. So if you just take another one of these guys and go skip a hole, and here's our other placeholder over there. Just skip a hole. The fact that the washer is a little smaller than the bead helps because it actually will push the bead over the lip. And I can jump back to the other one. Jump a hole. You see it sucking it down. Same thing. Again, I'm filming with one hand, doing this with the other hand, so it's a little easier if you can use both hands. Skip a hole. Same thing. Again, one hand works great. And you can see all we have is a tiny little lip of it right there. That I probably could tap it with a hammer and it would go in, but just for completeness sake, go ahead and use our little washer to push it in. And pop all these out. And now you're ready for your ring. Easy peasy.